And welcome back to Vanessa's podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. So, I'm going to continue on my physical abuse story, part 2. Let's go. So, I'm going to start where I left off. So, if you just came on and start listening to this, then go back to the prior episode and make sure that you catch up and so you can follow through. So also I forgot to mention, for all the women or men that are trapped in some physical abusive relationship right now, just so you know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people like you who are defenseless, powerless, and feel like they have no way out. And there is a way out. Second of all, my story is to show all of you out there living it right now that that what I did was wrong. I did the opposite of what you should do to get out of it, because I was young and naive, and I did not know how to escape, and it was already too late for me to realize that it was not normal, then I should have gone long ago. So when you have a good master manipulator, or even a dumb master manipulator, they always start by isolating you and everybody around you first, and then they slowly start to take everything away from you to prevent you from living. And then when that doesn't work, they go to a second stage of cutting you off from things, and maybe taking your car away, or make sure you don't have any gas, or finding an excuse and taking you out somewhere when you have other plans. When they feel like you're about to leave, they start getting violent. Then they start showing up everywhere you're going, or start telling you threats. It comes to the point where you end up being too scared to talk and say, "Ooh, how am I gonna get out?" So let's go. So after the first time, then it was physically abusive. We had a few weeks were okay, but it was still. In my mind, I knew something was wrong. And the second time was the time when I came in the front door. And I remember standing in front of him and fighting about something. We were arguing. I was remaining calm, and he was just telling me that I was cheating, that I didn't care about him, and I was lying. And basically, I was just trying to argue back that I wasn't, and that I didn't want to fight. And he took his fist and punched me as hard as he could in my neck. And then he followed by using his leg and kicked me in the stomach really, really hard until I fell down. And all I remember at that point is that I saw a big white light and I fell down. And I don't even remember when I fell down. All I remember is that I woke up and it felt like it had been forever. So I don't even know how long had been going on. I was on the floor. And for the following 3 weeks straight up, I had a finger on my neck. I had a torticollis, couldn't move, and just a lot of pain. And I had always had strong bones, so my bones, and usually nothing breaks with me. So this was really strange for me to really not be able to move my neck from right to left, not being able to drive and all this. Of course, I didn't tell anybody, and he will minimize everything to the point that if I, say something, he will say that he didn't mean to do it, he didn't think he was gonna, hurt me that bad, and that he was so sorry. And then he was just, if he didn't walk, he would just start crying so much to the point where I just feel bad for him, and I really start believing that he didn't mean to, and the cries seem real. That's the worst part. Is and some manipulator and perpetrator mind. Sometimes they have remorse, sometimes they don't. There's those who are just really cold hearted, and there's nothing go through with them. They just don't have emotion anymore. And then there's the one who maybe either snapped or just wanted to hurt you physically or to gain control again, but do have regrets. So I think in my case he did have some regrets. So because he will often repeat the same scenario as crying and offering me flowers and offer to massage my feet and take me out, things like this. So this was the second time, and then it started to be more and more, and then more fighting, and just more stress. So now we at the level where it's just fight, and it's cold, and it's just, I'm a little bit more distant, and I'm thinking ahead of time, thinking, where am I gonna go? I need to speak to somebody, I need to get out of this situation. So I'm starting to write down things that I need to do. I'm starting to think how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna just be able to live without a trace, basically. Because at this point I'm starting to be a little bit scared of him, but not enough where I fear for my life at that point. I had a really good relationship with this guy. I was never ever scared of him. Mentally, I knew he was a very wicked person, and so I had no fear of him as a person. But physically, because he was lifting up to 100 pounds, doing over 100 or 200 lifts each night, he was pretty strong. He didn't look that strong, but he had the muscle, so he could give you a good punch, and it would really hurt. But so I didn't believe truly that he was capable of doing anything extremely violent, or he wanted to hurt me in purpose. At this point, I really believe that he wasn't doing any purpose at all, and then he was really sorry, and he was not able to control it. And that's the reason why I stick around. Not really wanted to, but I thought that it was maybe possible for him to stop, slow down, and just don't do it again. And at least I wasn't really hoping. I kind of wanted to go, but in the moment present, while I was dating him, I was hoping that they would just stop, and then I could work things out, and I could prevent it somehow. So this was the second time, and then came the third time for another fight. We were coming out the nightclub that night, and he had been chasing me around, cussing me out, just screaming insanely in the car, and it just started to snap, and he decided to just lock me in his garden shade all night in the rain, where I just felt like I was a dog, and I waited for him to open the door. I could not believe he just had done that to me, and there was no one around, and there's nothing I could do, and I was really afraid, and I just had never experienced anything like this. And I had a lot of time to think that night, and I knew that I didn't want to stay anymore. And then the next thing was another time we were sitting laughing, and he was lifting up his weight when he squeezed my arm till I had bruise all over my arms, and I had to wear long sleeve in a 95-degree sun for for at least 2 weeks, and don't think I ever had bruise that blue and that green on my arm, that much marks. So still I didn't think that it was extreme physical abuse at the time. I was still hanging and going to my parents with him, and he was of course pretending, we were pretending everything's fine, and I didn't know how to approach them. I wanted to tell my mother, but I just didn't know how to tell her. I didn't think they were going to believe me. And I didn't know how to tell my other friends. And so it just really, I didn't know how to tell my co-worker either. So slowly by slowly, he started to isolate me in a way where he told me my family didn't really care about me. They just misled me. They mistreated me. They didn't treat me with respect. He told me my friends were using me. They didn't care about me. My brother was just he was not a nice brother. I mean, he was just slowly start building bridge between me and anybody in the outside world. So every time he will come back and say a name of somebody I knew and say, oh, they don't care about you, I care about you, and this. So, and then he would just kind of, inspect and make sure I'm not talking to anybody, because with his jealousy, it's in the fight and him arguing over and over, I end up just deciding not to reach out as much as I used to, because I thought, it'd just be easy and faster to not go through the fight by just not doing it. And so slowly by slowly, I just didn't even realize it at the time. But within the next probably 3 to 6 months, was a lot more isolated than I thought. And I planned my first escape, and I remember the first time I had a suitcase, and we discovered it. So I was screwed, and it was even harder because I had to find a way to hide and not make it look like I'm preparing a suitcase. So I was on a mission. I don't remember looking exactly where. I found out tips on how to prepare your escape from a sick abuser. But I was reading something, and it was giving me tips on what to do, how to develop a plan and all this. So that's what I was doing. Literally, I was pretending to be in a movie, and I was following the step. I figure if someone did it before, and I can do it too. So I would hide piece by piece. I will make it look like I'm not going anywhere. I will wait for the perfect time when he's not home, he's not checking on me. I started to, he doesn't know where I am, or I don't have my phone. So I was so afraid of him because I knew he knew everything about me, that I really had to sound totally normal, not show fear, and just take the day off without telling him, and plan on that day to go. So when I did manage to do that, I remember I had trouble finding my stuff first, because he'll take like things from my bags, and I had to look all over the house, or he'll hide once in a while in the garden, and then just I'll be looking for something, and he'll just hide for an hour, waiting for me to find him like a little child. And it was so weird. It was just with a little refugee hiding behind the tree. I was like, how old is he to do that?